Brothers and sisters, the book of 1 Samuel tells a profound story of Israel's transition from judges to kings. After the moral chaos of judges, Israel needed faithful leaders. 1 Samuel introduces Samuel, Saul and David, guiding Israel from tribes to a kingdom. The book has a brilliant design. It begins with Hannah, a grieving woman who finally bears a son, Samuel. Hannah sings of how God opposes the proud but exalts the humble, working through tragedy toward his purposes. Her song introduces key themes: God opposing pride, the need for faithful leaders, and God's anointed king. Samuel becomes a great prophet and judge, but Israel wants a king like other nations. Though wrongly motivated, God permits a king. Saul seems a perfect candidate, tall, handsome, but his character flaws prove his downfall. He disobeys God and is unfit to lead. God raises up David, an unlikely shepherd boy. David's victory over Goliath shows God chooses based on faith, not status. While proud Saul and Goliath fall, humble David rises. David serves Saul but is hunted by his jealousy. David spares Saul's life repeatedly. Though seemingly abandoned, David trusts God's timing. Many songs express David's faith during this time. Saul descends into madness and dies battling Philistines. 1 Samuel stories are masterfully told. Saul and David are complex, realistic characters. We see ourselves in them. Saul warns us to deal with our flaws before they destroy us and others. David encourages patience and trust in God's working through trouble. Though chased by Saul, David believes God opposes the proud and will exalt the humble. Despite human evil, God's purposes stand. This is 1 Samuel's message. Like Israel, we fail to obey God's covenant. We need wise, faithful leaders, and we have them in Christ, the perfect, eternal King we long for. Like David, we can trust God's timing through trouble. Despite opposition, God's rule advances. 1 Samuel calls us to live as faithful leaders and followers in God's kingdom. We cannot serve both God and selfish pride. We must walk in humility, integrity and obedience. We serve a God who turns weakness into strength, uses the foolish to shame the wise, and causes all things to work for the good of those who love him. This book warns and inspires us. May God give us leaders like Samuel, remove leaders like Saul, and make us leaders like David, ready to serve God's purposes in faith and humility. Our God reigns. Let us rejoice in his timing and rule. The kingdom is the Lord's.